we all know that consistency over a long period of time is what we're really striving for. It's what creates success. And if we can't achieve that, we're always going to go through ups and downs and we're not going to fulfill our potential. But when we're talking about consistency, what we really need to focus on is that root cause. The root cause of being inconsistent, or what prohibits consistency over a long period of time. So when we're talking about consistency, we're not just talking about doing the training. We're talking about what do we need to do in order to be able to give ourselves the opportunity to train consistently. So it's a whole range of things. And these right here are some of the most common things that I'll focus on, the most priority that I put into trying to stay consistent. It's not just doing the work, it's about setting myself up so I can consistently do the work. So here's the list. Okay, so kicking off, it's about routine and sacrifice. Now, when we talk about routine is extremely important. We see a lot of people come into New Year's resolutions, do this massive overhauls in terms of their routines, their lifestyle habits, changing things with what they're eating, changing their eating and their sleeping and waking up times and their exercise regimes. And this is very stressful. They are good changes, but they are stressful changes for the mind and the body. And when we do that, it basically makes it very challenging for us until our body and brain start to adapt. So what we generally tend to see is come New Year's resolutions, people set all these massive goals, they'll overhaul their life completely and all of their routine and habits, and then they only last about 1 to 2 weeks. And that's because it becomes too stressful for them. They start to feel fatigued, they start to feel stressed, they feel like they're not getting anywhere, and then they drop out and suddenly their goals are all over. So when we're building a routine, it's extremely important that we firstly don't overhaul everything, especially all at once, because it can be too stressful for us. As I said, even though they're good things, they can still be really stressful things. So I like to do just little bits and pieces at a time, just those incremental steps. So if it's something to do with eating habits or improving my eating, I won't just completely overhaul it. I'll take little steps towards where I want to go. And that's the same with everything else. If it's improving my exercise or training habits, if it's improving my recovery and health habits and all that sort of stuff, it's about doing it incrementally. Sacrifice. Now, sacrifice, this comes back to your values. So write down your values, write down the priority in your life of where your training or racing sits in regards to where your relationship might be or your work, and other hobbies, friends, all that sort of stuff, because it's really important that we get the right balance. Now, again, a very common thing that we tend to see is people will start doing this training regime. It might start off a bit easy at the start, and then it starts to build and build and build. And when the training volume gets quite high and you're doing a lot of training, you feel like you're doing a lot of training, and that's on top of your work, sometimes it can end up affecting your relationship, and then suddenly there's a lot of stress going on in your life, maybe in your personal life or your work life, because you don't have the right balance of things going on. So when we're talking about sacrifice, this comes down to where does training and racing sit in the priority list for you? And if you're trying to be an elite athlete and a professional athlete, it is the number one. It is the most important thing. You only have a short period of time to do it. You won't be able to do it for the rest of your life. So understanding what sacrifices need to be made is extremely important. For me, I haven't had a drink of alcohols for, I don't know, must be 10 months or so. And that's because I know that it affects me. It's a negative effect on me if I do have it. It's not going to positively impact my life or my goals and what I really, really prioritize in terms of trying to get the most out of myself as an athlete. So understanding your values and the priorities is really important, but if you want to get the most out of yourselves, there are going to have to be sacrifices, and it's important that you get the right balance so you can do those things for a long period of time. Religiously, I'm doing my warm-ups and cool-downs. I don't care about Strava. I don't care what anyone thinks about my Strava. I do not care whatsoever, because more importantly to me is that my body stays in good nick. I'm aerobically fit, I'm healthy, I have a healthy body, I'm not getting injured. I have been doing this for 15 years and I can push myself very, very hard. And I've never once in 15 years, touch wood, had a soft tissue injury from training or racing or anything like that. The only injuries I've had been hit by a car and just maybe roll of the ankle, hitting a curb or something like that. But nothing has come from overtraining or just lack of warm up, and that's because I do my warm ups. They're extremely important, and they're important for a number of reasons. But if I want to be consistent, I need my body to stay in good health, and I need to be able to perform well in my training sessions as well. So I'll never ever skip a warm up. It always sticks in there, and that's the same with the cool down as well. For me to be consistent, it's extremely important that I recover as fast as I can from that workout. Now, if we just do our workout, we get in the car and we drive home without doing a proper cool down, getting rid of all that waste that's built up, then all we do is prolong the time it takes to recover from that session. And that means moving into your next session, whether it's the same day or the next day, you're just going to have a little bit more fatigue going into that. And the more we do that, the more it starts to back up across the week, and then suddenly we're getting to the back end of the week or the weekend, and we're feeling less motivated, we're feeling sore, stiff, tired, and we're not maximizing what we can gain out of the session. So if I have a shorter period of time, if let's say I've got an hour session to do, 15-minute warm-up, 30-minute main set, 15-minute cool down, and for whatever reason I've only got 45 minutes available, I'll cut down the main set. I never ever skip the warm-up and cool down, and that's what helps me stay consistent, especially in terms of my body staying in good nick and being able to back up those sessions. Strength and conditioning, again, religiously every single week I'll do that, and I'll do more of it in my off season as well. So I never really stop training, but when I've had my sort of A race for a couple of weeks, if I'm just sort of rebuilding or just having a bit of time out from full training, I'll go and do a bit more strength and conditioning work. So in the gym 3 times a week as opposed to 2 times a week. And this is an extremely important part, again, for making sure my body stays in good nick, it doesn't fall apart, and it also stays strong in the back end of the races as well. Smart training, I don't care what anyone else is doing, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm following my plan, I'm following my goals, my pathway, and I do not care what anyone else is doing. I don't care if I'm running along the Esplanade doing a heart rate aerobic run and people are running past me, because I know that later on in the race I'm going to absolutely destroy them because I'm focusing on what I need to be doing. So I'm always doing smart training. Always smart training is about following your own plan. It is about listening to your body. If I don't feel right up to it, I'll just pull the intensity back or shorten the session. I'm always just listening to my body about what I need. But there is a fine line with that. You can't just constantly do that and again expect to see those awesome results, because we also need to build some mental toughness and resilience as well. So it's important to understand when we're smart training and we're listening to our body, that we don't just give up for the sake of giving up because it's you're getting bored or you're getting tired or whatever. It's actually just understanding that if I keep pushing right now, I'm potentially going to put myself in the hurt box and I'm not going to be able to train tomorrow. In terms of that, we can sort of have a look at our track session, for example, and let's say you got 6x1k VO2 efforts, running as hard as you can. You always want to potentially have about 1 rep left in reserve when you finish that main set, because just remember, we need to train tomorrow. So if we go out and destroy ourselves in that session, sure, it might feel good, might give us a bit of a pump up, we might throw out a PB at the end of the session, but if we're absolutely cooked ourselves to do it and it's just a training session, then what are we going to feel like tomorrow? If we've got a day off tomorrow, we've got a nice easy recovery session, got the opportunity to recover from it, then sure, go for it, build a bit of confidence and self-belief. But if you still need to back up and do some good solid work over the next coming days, then always just train smart. Recovery. So recovery is a big one that I focus on, and it's something I haven't focused on enough in the past, and it's something that is, again, extremely important. Recovery, first of all, recovery is about the nutrition, hydration, and sleep. If we're not doing those simple things as recovery, it doesn't matter what other things that we're going to do, we're not going to maximize our recovery. So again, recovery, cool down, sleep, eating, protein shakes, all that sort of stuff, rehydrating, and then on top of that, you focusing on some other things, whether it's massage booths, sauna, especially like my steam sauna, and doing some other things, whether it's just chilling at the beach. There's a whole bunch of things out there. You could list 15, 20 different things, but as I said, prioritize the absolute basic fundamentals first, and then look at what other recovery methods you can put in there. Planning. Planning is extremely important. So planning ahead, understanding what my week looks like is important for me. So I can prepare my gear, I can prepare my logistics for the week, I can understand if there's meetings or work or other things that pop up. I've got my week sorted, and I understand where I can put those without sacrificing some of those other important things that are really important to me, as well as setting out your gear the night before. So like a Friday night, I just love to set out my bike, put out all my gear for that nice long ride and brick session the following day, so it's all ready to go. So when I wake up in the morning, it's not as stressful. You're not trying to hunt for everything and find all the bits and pieces that you need. You don't forget anything. Your batteries are charged, all that sort of stuff. That just really helps me. When I wake up early on a Saturday morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, the coffee machine is ready to go. All the stuff is there ready. All my bike is ready. Nutrition is there. Hydration bottles, they're all set up, and it's just so much easier. Just get out there, a lot less stressful, and it really helps with consistency. That's for sure. Another way that I keep in terms of planning as well is focusing on what's coming up. So races that are coming up. There's always, if I'm doing a race, there's always another race coming, and it's already planned, and I already know what's coming ahead. This is extremely important to make sure that we don't get stuck in those post-race blues. So that's something that's very, 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 very common in this world, is people just focus on this one race. They train 5-6 months for it, do the race, and then they don't have anything coming up or planned, and they just fall into an absolute hole. And then suddenly a couple of days turns into a couple of weeks, that turns into like a couple of months of down period, and then suddenly now you've dropped all that work that you've done over the first 5 or 6 months. It's all dropped down, and then you've got to try and rebuild your motivation and your fitness and conditioning back up again. Okay, if you're constantly going through these massive ups and downs, again, you're not going to find your potential. So always have a race coming up. Training peaks maintenance. So I love to make sure that my training peaks looks awesome. Even if that includes oranges or reds and yellow boxes, I just like to make sure it looks clean. So my workouts are updating in there. Every single workout is in there that I've done. Putting your smiley faces, putting your comments in, writing down your fitness test results, and making sure it just doesn't look messy. Like you're actually uploading the data in the first place. And then also what that gets me to do is I get to have a look at the week and understand, how much have I swum this week, or how many hours on the bike, or what distance have I run, how many sessions have I done, what's my total duration for the week. I love looking at that. That really inspires and motivates me to see how I'm tracking, and especially over a long period of time, you can sort of see, those periods that you've gone through where you've been a bit inconsistent to start off with, but then you started to get more greens, then more greens, and suddenly everything's green for a few weeks, and that just builds so much more inspiration and motivation and good vibes. And that's what, again, it just motivates you and keeps you wanting to keep driving. And that's a really, really big one for me. So I highly recommend that. Eating enough. So I've had a massive struggle, about 11-12 months worth of health issues, and not being able to race for 6-7 months or so, whatever it's been, and really, like, the number one thing came down to not enough calories. So when we talk about eating, there's a whole bunch of things, whether it's not eating enough, whether it's not eating the right foods or nutritious foods, or eating too much junk food, too much sugar, like all that sort of stuff. There's a whole bunch of things that will significantly affect your ability to train consistently over a long period of time and maintain health. And this is what we see massively in this world these days, is that people are doing all this training, doing all these crazy events and everything like that. They're traveling here and there, they're also working, or they've got kids and all that sort of stuff going on, but they're just not fueling themselves, and they're not fueling themselves nutritiously either. So again, super important that we got to eat. We got to understand how many calories we're burning in a week, how many are we actually taking in, and if volume is a big issue for you, then look at ways that you can be, I guess, a bit more opportunistic with your eating and or consuming calories. Making sure you get in the car after a training session, and it might be another 30-45 minutes before you go have dinner. So maybe you can have something ready to go. Again, opportunistic. If it's the volume side of things, shakes or drinks or things like that. A simple one for me is my dessert after dinner is a protein shake, a second protein shake for the day. Protein powder, vanilla protein powder, frozen berries, and coconut milk. And coconut milk has a bit more calories in it compared to coconut water. So again, it's just like a drink. It's easy to take down. It doesn't feel like you're consuming a lot of sort of volume. It doesn't make you feel massively full. Over the night, your body gets to absorb those great nutrients and help it rebuild. And again, you're just getting a bit more calories in. Sleeping, if you're not prioritizing your sleep and getting enough sleep, good quality sleep, and doing that consistently, again, you're just going to fall into a bit of a pit, and that's going to significantly affect your consistency. So make sure that you are highly prioritizing your sleeping. And some of the things that are important to me with this is winding down. So at the end of the day, get in, the lights will dim, or I'll just turn a lot of the lights off, keep it nice and dark. Trying to stay off tech in that last sort of hour before bed. Definitely trying to stay off the phone. And just really trying to wind down. And if I feel like I'm a bit wound up, maybe I'll put on a bit of Family Guy or something like that on TV to completely tune out of my day and the stressful day and all the conversation you might have had, all the things that were going on, and just focus on something that's really numbing my brain, just some stupid comedy. So that really helps me. And certainly also using breathing technique as well. So basically double exhale to inhale. So if I jump in bed, I'm feeling a little bit wired, I'll just go through like a few minutes of just breathing in for 3 seconds and exhaling for 6 seconds, and that just helps deregulate and just chill out a little bit, and that again helps me sleep a lot. So if sleeping is an issue for you, whether it's quantity or quality, that long deep sleep, you need to really prioritize this. This is extremely important. It's the biggest way that we recover from our training, and we want to be waking up a lot fresher and making sure that we're able to tackle the day ahead. The 10-minute rule, so that one's a really good one for staying consistent as well. So if you don't feel like it, you're feeling a bit flat, hormonal issues, work stress, relationship stress, poor night's sleep, whatever it is, there's a whole bunch of things that will affect our ability to feel good all the time. When we can't expect to feel good all the time, we're just simply not. Doesn't matter male or female, whatever. It does not matter. We are always going to go through ups and downs. And as we talked about, it's a little bit of smart training. It's a little bit about being proactive, about looking at these overall holistic type approaches to staying as high up as we can consistently. But we are going to go down, and we are going to feel moments of that. So the 10-minute rule is a really good one. So if you've got an hour planned, an hour run is scheduled, maybe you just go out for a 10-minute walk or a 10-minute very, very easy jog. You commit yourself to 10 minutes, and quite often what's going to happen, you'll just get the blood flowing and you get the oxygen pumping, and then you'll end up just starting to feel good again. Then you probably end up extending it and going out for more. But the number one important thing with this is that you have to be okay and proud of your effort, even if you quit at 10 minutes. So get up, do 10 minutes, and if you still after 10 minutes don't feel like doing it, stop, be proud of it, and then you've kept your momentum going. And this is really, really important. You really must lock this in. Don't get negative on the fact that you only did 10 minutes. Be proud of the fact that you did do 10 minutes when you didn't feel like doing anything at all. This one is extremely important. And again, it comes back to routine and keeping that body going, keeping the momentum going, keeping your routine. And this one will really, really help you. Building a really good relationship with training is extremely important as well. Quite often, we just bag ourselves out. Oh, I felt terrible today. Oh, my speed is down, my pace is down, my heart rate was too high. Oh, I feel like crap running. Oh, I'm slow swimming today. We're always constantly nitpicking everything that we do. When I finish a session, I reckon 8-9 times out of 10, I will literally say to myself, oh, well done, oh, awesome job, oh, proud of you, Nick, good job. And this is about really building a good relationship with training. Instead of focusing on those negatives, like you're being proud of the fact that you got it done, and that you got another box ticked. You had to keep working and finish the job through adversity. You did 10 minutes when you felt like doing 0 minutes. You've just got to build that relationship, build that self-belief, build that self-confidence, talk yourself into it, focus on the positives from the session as well, but always just be really proud of the fact that you got another workout done. And if you can literally say it, I'll literally say it out loud, as long as no one's around. I'll look like a weirdo otherwise. But I'll do that, yeah, as I said, 8 to 9 times out of 10, and it'll leave me feeling good about that session. I won't be getting in the car or going home, really negative on myself. It just leaves you with a bit more of an upbeat feeling. So that's something that I really do, and again, it helps me keep that momentum going, and keep that good relationship with training. So my relationship with training doesn't become a chore. Like it's something that I enjoy and I feel good about doing. So and I look forward to doing. And the last one here is just remembering past experiences. So don't get beaten by what you know, and be proactive about your weaknesses. So if we look through this holistic list here, it's mostly holistic stuff. It's thinking about what has affected me in the past, what has negatively impacted my ability to stay consistent in the past, and what do I need to do to be proactive to make sure those things don't happen again. So we can start off at the start of a block, really good momentum, we're ticking all the boxes, and then suddenly when it gets a little bit tougher, or we get a few weeks in, we start to, we miss a session here and there, and then suddenly that starts to build and we start missing more sessions. It's about understanding why that's happening in the first place. So whether it's a motivation thing, do we need to adjust goals? Do we need to find some other types of motivation? What makes me feel good about this training? Let's really prioritize that and keep that at the front of mind. Is it, when I get a little bit deeper, like when I get my higher training volume, am I falling apart then? Maybe it's something to do with nutrition. I'm not getting enough calories in when my volume increases, my intensity increases, my calorie expenditure is higher. Is it a dehydration factor? Is it a sleep factor that I'm not able to wind down after a training session or at night time? So maybe I'll take some magnesium products or something like that. Understanding your past experiences is extremely important. Understanding what has prevented you from consistency before is extremely important. And being proactive about those weaknesses is, as I said, super, super important. Don't just and we do this all the time, and everyone does it, right? Even if it's going to a counselor or a psychologist, we only do things in a reactive kind of way. When we hit a problem, I better do something about that. When I get injured, I'll go to the physio, and now I'll start doing some strength work to make sure I can get back to running again. We should have been doing the strength work all along. If it's a mobility thing, we should be doing that all the time to be proactive, to make sure we don't get injured, so we can move freely, and it comes back to pretty much everything in this list here. Be proactive about it. Don't just be reactive, be proactive, and focus on your weaknesses, and try and build up those weaknesses to make sure that they don't prevent you from being inconsistent in the future. But these are some of the things, probably most of the things, that I really prioritize to help me stay consistent. As I said, it's not just doing the training, it's setting yourself up for the ability to keep training. And that's just doing all of these things right here. So have a think about that. Write down some of the things that you can improve. Don't try and do them all if you don't do any of them. Again, just do that little stepping stone process. Make some little gradual little improvements here and there, and hopefully that'll help you stay a little bit more consistent in the future.